everyone. Welcome to the Q&A, Yes, You Can Run a Marathon. My name is Lisa Mannheim. I am the Executive Director of the Hirschberg Foundation for Pancreatic Cancer Research. I'm a Hirschberg Training Team alumnus, and I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm going to start the program by introducing you to some of our speakers. We're going to start with Martin.
Hi, I'm Martin Fung. I'm the HTT Program Manager and also an HTT alumnus.
Hi, I'm Robert Mills.
And I'm Yuri Mills.
And we're the Club 26.2 training program coaches.
Welcome. Thank you guys both for being here. We also have Alyssa, who is managing our behind the scenes. So thank you. And I'm going to welcome some special guests who are HTT alumni and let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about their story.
Hi, my name is Kelly Schwiger. I live in Overland Park, Kansas. I'm a four-time HTT alum, and I run with the HTT in honor of my grandfather and my stepfather and my mother, who is a survivor as well.
Hi, my name is Nicole Walsh. I live in Boston, Massachusetts. I run for the Hirschberg Training Team 8 times, and I run in honor of my dad, David, as well as multiple family members who've had pancreatic cancer.
Hi, my name is Alan Wong, and I've been with the HTT for 3 years now. I am running in memory of my mom who passed away from the pancreatic cancer in 2014. And I live locally here in Los Angeles.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Smith. I've run with the Hirschberg Training Team for 2 years now. I live in Santa Monica and I run in honor of my dad, Al Balog, and he passed away in 2016 from pancreatic cancer.
Thank you all for your time today, for sharing your stories. Let's jump right in with Martin. Martin, can you just tell everybody what the Hirschberg training is? What's our connection to the LA Marathon? Give us the basics.
Sure. The Hirschberg Training Team is a marathon training team for the Hirschberg Foundation for Pancreatic Cancer Research. The primary purpose of HTT is to raise funds for pancreatic cancer research and to assist our participants in achieving their training and fundraising goals. The Hirschberg Foundation is one of 70 official charities and will participate in the Los Angeles Marathon presented by ASICS in March. The Los Angeles Marathon's point-to-point course starts at Dodger Stadium and finishes in Century City's Avenue of the Stars and highlights iconic sites across greater Los Angeles. There is a charity challenge 13.1 half marathon option that's exclusively offered to the LA Marathon's charities.
Thank you. Robert and Yuri, will you talk about what Club 26.2 is? What's your relationship to the Hirschberg Training Team? And give us an understanding of the training philosophy that you use.
Yes, Club 26.2 has been the official training program for HTT since the premier marathon in Kona, and that was in 2002.
The 24-week program also includes informational presentations on topics such as injury prevention, nutrition, how to find the best running shoes, and a pre-marathon preparation review. We're always available to answer questions, and we send team members a weekly newsletter. A complete training packet is also provided upon registration.
Excellent. Can you give us a sense of when the training begins and what's the time commitment?
Yes, the training program starts in October, and it's Burton Chase Park in Marina del Rey, and that's every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock.
It's recommended that marathoners and half marathoners walk and or run 3 days per week with relatively low mileage in the midweek, approximately 3 to 6 miles. Longer run with our Club 26.2 training program is done on the weekends. Alternate exercise such as Pilates and yoga or strength training are also very much encouraged.
Wonderful. It sounds doable, but if I've never run more than a few blocks, how can I ever think about running a marathon? Alan, will you start by sort of telling everybody, is that possible?
Sure. Yeah, it is definitely possible. When I first started joining the team a couple years ago, the longest I've run was no more than 6-7 miles, on my own. It sounded daunting, with like the longer runs that the team were trying to do, but it was explained to me that we can chunk size it and kind of gradually increase our mileage, and that helped me a lot. And so, I started with the team, to train for my first half marathon. And, before I know it, I came back the following year and I finished my first marathon. So it totally changed my life.
Outstanding. Sarah, will you let us know about your experience?
Absolutely. I joined the team after training for and running my first half marathon, which I did by myself. And before that, I had only run some 5Ks here and there, nothing serious. But running a marathon had always been something on my bucket list. I never thought I could do it. And I really wanted to do it because my dad ran marathons, and I wanted to do it to honor him. So when I joined the team, I set a goal of running the full marathon, and week by week, we just went by, and those miles, you tick them off, and sure enough, you get to the end and you realize you can do it, and you're gonna do it, and then you do it. So it's an amazing feeling.
Alan and Sarah, if you guys would both take turns letting us know what the local training runs are like. Tell us about your experience with those runs.
First and foremost, it's fun. So before we start running, Coach Robert and Coach Yuri usually would do like a small meetup and kind of set the right intention for us, and then off we go. And we separate ourselves into like the different pace groups, and I like that because it gives me encouragement and motivation to run with people that are around my same speed, right? I also enjoy the fact that, every couple of miles, Coach Robert and Coach Yuri, they would put out snacks and drinks and water, so that we are, we're always replenished. And, I really love the watermelon Gatorade that they put out. It's like the best thing ever. And I also like that during the runs I get to talk to the coaches, and they would let me know whether my running form is off, or if there's anything that I need to focus on, and so on and so forth. So they are really beneficial.
Yeah, and just like Alan said, it's something I look forward to every week. I love my Saturday mornings, meeting up with everyone on the team. It's such a family experience, and you start running and you catch up with everyone about how their week was, how their family's doing, how was work, how was that thing you had that you were worried about, whatever it is. It's just a great time to catch up with people, and it makes the runs truly fly by. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours of running, which sounds insane, but it ends up going by so fast because you're running with a different group or a group here. You'll catch up with some people, and it's just this great time to connect with these people that have become your family members. And you get back and you realize you've done 8 miles, you've done 15, you've done 20, and it's just an amazing feeling. And you've caught up with friends, and your Saturday's only halfway over, and you've accomplished something so amazing before the weekend's even started. So it's a great feeling, and this group is like family.
It sounds like you're getting therapy while you're there.
Exactly.
Robert and Yuri, do you have anything else you want to share about the Saturday training runs?
Well, I was just say the main thing that people do is to build up their mileage in a very gradual way. Everybody can succeed at this, and we really promote them at whatever level they're at. They can do this.
I remember when I was running that I loved the run walk combination where you helped me choose the right balance for me.
We do suggest that people do mix running and walking. We've got some runners now that have been with us for a while and they just want to run. So, like Alan and Sarah. So we just let them go and let them run. But, you know, especially for beginners, we really encourage mixing the walking and running because it really helps promote recovery and they'll actually feel better. And believe it or not, a lot of times they'll even run faster by doing it that way.
It's true. Well, we've got some panelists here, some guests who aren't from Los Angeles, who don't participate in the Saturday training runs, but nonetheless are an integral part of the Hirschberg training team. So Kelly first, and then Nicole, will you talk about what it's like to train virtually? Does it work? How do you do it?
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. Virtual training is very possible. It's something that I've managed to do over the last 6 years with the HTT, and the reason it's easy is because Robert's program is laid out for someone that may not be in LA. It's day by day, it's week to week, and you get to check in and check off all the boxes as you go through the program up until race time. Every week you can check in with the Facebook group. There's plenty of commentary and comments and pictures, and everybody's posting from wherever they may be located. Not necessarily in LA. I've lived in many states and have trained in a variety of places. Some of the best parts about training virtually is you get to explore new cities and find new trails and find some things that you weren't aware of. And meanwhile, everybody is together in LA, but you still get to share some of the same experiences. And so training virtually is very possible for sure.
Yeah, just to echo a few of the things that Kelly said, I've actually had the privilege of training both in LA and virtually. I actually, at this point, have done more virtual training than I've done in person, but I have gotten the face-to-face with Yuri and the luxury of their snacks. And while it's not the same to train virtually, it's still really possible. And like Kelly said, the program that Coach Robert and Yuri provide is really easy to follow. And it's really easy to adapt depending on where you're starting from in terms of your running level, and then something that I deal with in Massachusetts, which is the weather. So weather can be very different from when we start in October to when I finish my training in February or early March. And so it's really nice to be able to work with Robert to adapt the workouts to fit those, whatever weather I'm going to deal with. And also just in terms of adapting your training to the weather that's going to be on race day is going to be very different from running in the winter months in the Northeast. So what I found I like to do is do my long runs outside almost always. There's a threshold, but then take my weekday runs to the treadmill. And so I can run in warmer temperatures. That'll be more like the weather will probably be in LA on race day. Robert is really great about reaching out, particularly if he hasn't heard from you in a while. And he's always responsive to any questions I've had for him during the training season. And then also just keeping in touch with the other runners through the Facebook group or there's Instagram hashtag that some people use, and seeing what other people are doing during their training. You still get to feel part of the group, which is really awesome and a great feeling.
Robert and Yuri, do you guys have anything to add about virtual training?
I would just say that we're here to support our runners wherever they're at. I think one thing that's really helped is we have the weekly newsletter. And with that, a lot of times it's funny because I'll have a topic in the newsletter that maybe runners are actually going through, and it kind of hits in a timely way. And what's great is that they might have a question and they can read that newsletter and then just ask me a question and I can get right back to them and help them out. So I think that's really worked well. We always appreciate the more input that people put in, the more that we can give them and the more that we can help them.
Outstanding, thank you. Well, now that we've shared information about how you can run a marathon or half marathon. I want to ask you, Martin, to talk about the fundraising piece of the Hirschberg training team, because obviously the purpose of the group is to raise awareness and raise money for pancreatic cancer research. So can you let everybody know what do they have to raise?
Sure. So we're asking each of the runners that sign up to commit to fundraising $1,000. And it's notable that HTT has raised almost $1 million since the very first HTT marathon in 2002, which was at Kona before we started running the LA course. And we're asking for all the participants and runners to raise the $1,000 by the start of their marathon race day.
Thank you. I know that to some people it may seem really hard to fundraise $1,000, but all of our guests have done it. So if I could go around and ask each of you to share sort of your answer to, is it hard to fundraise, and what were your best tips? Let's start with Alan.
Sure. So I am pretty shy to begin with. So, asking people for money is pretty hard for me. But from my experience, people are very supportive, especially once they find out what the cause is. Most of my close friends and my colleagues and other people that I interact with, they do know that I lost my mom to pancreatic cancer a couple years ago. So once they find out what the cause is, they are usually very, very supportive. Social media helps a lot. Facebook, Instagram, you post about, your training and you put your fundraising thing down below, and that always helps. And also, I have some really supportive colleagues, right? Sometimes on Mondays, they would ask me what I've done during the weekend, and I would tell them that I just ran 18 miles. Please donate. Thank you. It's just as easy as that.
Thank you. Kelly, can you share?
Yeah, just to follow up on what Alan said too, I would say that the online process of fundraising is a little daunting at first, but Martin and his team is very helpful. It's step by step as far as setting up the pages and making sure that you're not in a position to be uncomfortable to ask people for donations. And actually, as this has gone on over the years, what I'm finding is that more and more people are repeat donors, and that people are more interested every year in donating to your cause. So yes, just like Alan said, I'm a little nervous at first, but once they understand what the cause is and what you're trying to accomplish, the process is very easy and very rewarding at the end.
Nicole, will you share?
Sure. Just like Kelly and Alan said, fundraising can be challenging. I'm lucky that I have a very large family that supports me, but asking every year can be a lot. I've had really good luck using social media like Facebook and Instagram to fundraise. I put out posts during training season, updating people on my training, linking to my page, and that's really helpful. My friends and family can donate without feeling pressure. And then some of them also share and get their friends and family to help me raise money for pancreatic cancer. I also, because I've been doing this for 8 years now, have gotten myself into a little bit of trouble. But every now and then I offer to match donations in a given time point to try to stir up some enthusiasm. It works too well. And so if you can do that, that seems to be a sure hit. But like everybody has said, everybody that I've ever have asked to donate has always been very willing, and repeat donations really allow me to come back every year.
Sarah, do you find that experience rings true for you as well?
Absolutely. I love the Facebook posts. I'm all about that. It's super easy just to throw in a link to your personal page on the HTT main page, and it'll link right to it. And I really try and make that a really personal story of why I'm doing this, who I'm doing it for, not just my dad, but so many other people out there who've been affected by pancreatic cancer. So it gives anyone reading it an idea why I'm doing this. It's not just because I like to run, you know, I'm doing it for something bigger than myself. And like Nicole said, repeat donations are a huge deal. And I've also found that year to year, it seems like more of my friends and acquaintances have been affected by pancreatic cancer in some way personally. So unfortunately, that spurs donations too. So I think the more personal you can make it, it'll just reap you that many more benefits from it. And people love donating to a good cause. They really do. And Hirschberg is a great cause. So it's not hard. It really isn't hard. It's totally doable.
Martin, they've all convinced me that it's doable, but what if I don't make my fundraising goal?
Well, first off, I'm really here to support all the runners, and I tried to send out friendly reminders and helpful hints and help anyone who needs help. But actually, in the experience of all of the HTT runners, we really haven't ever had anyone not hit their goal. And yet we've had a lot of runners who are amazed at just how much they can fundraise to help this cause.
Robert and Yuri, do you have anything to add to the fundraising piece?
As far as fundraising, I remember a long time ago, I was running with one of our participants, and we just mentioned to him that it's always a good idea to kind of break it down to where, like, if 50 people give you $20, you've reached your goal. And I remember he had already had his letter written at the time, and I had mentioned that to him, and he goes, "Oh man, I've got to go, I've got to redo them now." But he did that, and he raised so much money. So that's something that I've learned that seems to work really well.
Outstanding. And running a marathon is not something that everybody does. It's a rare accomplishment.
You know, I always tell people, if you walk into a room of 1,000 people, one other person's done a marathon. So, I mean, that's something to be really proud of. But the other thing I mention to people is, with our training program, we consider ourselves couch potato friendly, and we work with all different abilities. And we just want to let people know that, yes, it's quite a challenge, but that they can do it. And we're there to support them all the way there. We live vicariously when people cross the finish line. We live vicariously through them.
Sounds good. Martin, I'm going to start with you and then maybe go around the panel to talk about what are really the benefits of this program, of our program, compared to others. What's the benefit? Why HTT?
Well, what everyone tells me is our kind of exclusive HTT training shirt is a great thing to have, and it kind of identifies you as you're running. And then also our great group training, our 24-week training program is phenomenal.
Alan, what about you? What do you think?
Sure. So three things comes to mind. I think 2 weeks before the marathon, we have a meet and greet. It's very nice to meet everybody on the team, talking about the logistics, and I find it very valuable, and knowing that we all are running for the same cause, and that's very moving for me, and that get me really, really pumped up. On the day of the marathon, right, all of us actually get to go to the Dodger Stadium suite, and who gets a chance to see Dodger Stadium at 5 o'clock in the morning, and stuff our faces with croissants and bagels and coffee before the race, and that for me is a super cool experience. And last of all, I also think there's we also celebrate after the race, right? So the evening after the marathon, we all get to dress up and celebrate our achievement, talking about our experience, And, you know, I always look forward to that.
Thank you. What about you, Nicole?
I mean, the post-race dinner is pretty amazing. But one of the biggest benefits for me for being on the Hirschberg training team is really the opportunity to dedicate your efforts to someone who has been or is being affected by pancreatic cancer. So the Hirschberg Foundation provides these awesome running bibs that, you know, we can wear on our backs during the marathon to let everybody know who we're running in honor or in memory of. Really, so I mean, we will never forget, but so you can show that off and really be proud that you're doing something for your loved one or whoever you're dedicating your run to that day.
Kelly, what about you?
You know, I would say for me, the actual fundraising itself is very very satisfying. As you're going through this process and this grueling training and getting to the point where you're going to run a race, whether it's your first time or your 20th time, along the way you're getting donations and fundraising, and then at the end of it all, you get to sit with everybody and you get to see how much the whole group has accumulated and raised over a certain period of time, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's very rewarding, and that's a big part of it for me.
Yeah, it's your accomplishment and the impact that the team is making. It's true, very true. Sarah, what about you? What do you think is the benefit?
Biggest benefit, hands down, is the Purple People Party. It is the best party on the course. No one would disagree with that. It is at mile 21, but whether you're doing the half or the full, you still get to run by this party, and you'll be at mile 20. It's one of the hardest spots on the course. And as you round that corner, mile 21, and you just see a wall of purple cheering and going crazy for you. You'll see Aggie, you'll see you, Lisa, there, ringing cowbells, waving their pom-poms, just generally going insane for every runner that they see wearing these purple shirts. You feel like a celebrity rolling up there. Other runners are like looking at you like, who's this girl? Who's this guy? Like, you really feel like you're someone special, and you are. But it's a great chance to take photos with your family, to just really just take in everything you've accomplished up until that point. And not just that day, but the entire time you've been training. And my family, they hang out there all morning, not just the 10 minutes that I'm there. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. My two daughters are like, are we going to the party this year, Mommy? Are we going to the party? They love it. So you spend some time there, you get energized, you remember why you're doing this, and you realize you have 5 miles left, that's it, and you've reached your goal. So it's just this energizing spot to appreciate everything you've done and all the people who are there supporting you and making this happen.
It sounds amazing. It is amazing. I love the Purple People Party too. Martin, from what everybody's told me, I don't know how anybody would be convinced not to want to do the Hirschberg training team. Can you tell everybody, how do you get started? What do you do?
It's super simple. You go to www.hirschbergtrainingteam.com and you click on register, and you're going to be asked to commit a $100 registration fee, but note that your $100 counts towards your fundraising goal. The only caveat is that it is non-refundable. And then once you are registered, you're gonna receive a complete fundraising packet and detailed information about the training program.
Excellent. Robert and Yuri, do you have anything to add?
I always mention to our runners at our site in Marina del Rey, as we get into longer runs, I always let people know that, you know, you really don't know somebody until you've done a long run with them. And it gives people really a chance to get to know each other. The other thing I like to mention to people, our virtual runners included, is that you don't really realize how much you are inspiring your friends and family. I mean, they really are inspired by what you're doing, being a marathoner, but then also raising money for such a great cause. And it's great that you're getting that recognition that you deserve. And that's something that really happens with this kind of program.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank everybody who's taken the time to tune in and listen to our Q&A today. I wanted to let everybody know that if they have any questions, they can reach out to martin@pancreatic.org or visit our website. We would be so happy to connect you to Robert or Yuri if you have any training questions, or to any of our HTT alumni if you have any other questions. And just want to welcome everybody, thank our panelists, and say, here's to curing pancreatic cancer. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.